Hey, it's KB, and I love movies. On today's conversation, we have the lovely Mel from My Killer Podcast. As you'll hear me tell her in the beginning of the conversation, this has been a long time coming. If you know Mel, you know she's everyone's favorite final girl, and it was just a blast to talk to her about different things and to catch up and so forth. So I'm glad I was finally able to get her on the conversation, and I hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned and check it out.
Hell yeah!
Joining us today on the conversation, we have That Laugh. She is a podcaster, she's a YouTuber, she is a movie collector like the rest of us, member of the Rad Pack, and overall sweetheart. I am glad to finally have Mel from My Killer Podcast. What's up, lady?
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited.
You don't know how long I've wanted to have you on this thing. I mean, day one, I was like, I got to get Mel. I got to get Mel. And day one, I've been trying since. trying to get Mel.
Well, I'm glad it finally worked out. You're looking rocking awesome with that My Killer Podcast shirt on.
I try.
Suits it, looking good.
I got this and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to rock it yet. I know when I'll put it on. I unfolded it and put it on. It was either this or another one, but I figured you'd appreciate the love.
Oh, heck yeah. I love it.
All right. So how we normally do this before we get into the movie stuff, I always start off with a question that's kind of non-movie-ish. So my non-movie question for you is, how's your momster?
I love it. She's doing great. She's retired now, so all she has to do is watch horror movies all the time and clean.
That's awesome. Tell everyone the story. We're going to talk later about the movie that made you fall in love with the movies, but tell us about that connection with your mom and movies just to get into it.
Sure. So growing up, my mom was a collector, but back in the day, she used to call it building a movie library. That's what she used to call it. Same thing. Exactly. And it was all VHS tapes, and she had an extensive record collection too, lots of Elvis and that kind of thing. So I just kind of grew up with that always being around me, and she was an avid cheesy B horror lover, which is probably where I get my love for that. I always remember The Stuff being her jam, and nice. She would always clean the house to Night Flyer.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, Night Flyer was like one of her favorite movies too, along with The Stuff. And I always remember just being like, man, I hate this movie. Hate it. But now I have like a a respect for it now, but I think it's because of that nostalgia of her making me watch it over and
over. Every Saturday, just in the background while she's cleaning.
Yeah, exactly. But she's kind of a funny cat because, she's like a 60s flower child. She has hair down to her butt. It's parted in the middle. She's like this cute little tiny thing. She's super like reserved and she doesn't talk a lot, but yet she's like this weird horror fanatic and like, she's like a closet horror fanatic. I don't know. She has this huge movie collection, but yeah, I don't know. She's an interesting person, but that is where my love for movies came from.
Is that also where the infectious laugh came from?
No, I don't know why that happened to me. My mom's not like an audible laugher kind of person. Like she'll laugh at stuff, but it's, more of like a.
Nothing like your laugh. Your laugh is big and booming.
Yeah, a little embarrassing because I feel like when I'm nervous, I laugh a lot. So that's why I laugh all the time on these streams.
Well, hopefully you're not too nervous with me today. Like I said, we'll just we'll talk movies, something we both love.
Perfect.
One last thing. Have you attempted to buy her any new Blu-rays lately?
I did. I actually bought her a Blu-ray player for Christmas just this past year. And then the first thing she said to me was, "Can I play my DVDs in it?" And I was like, "No."
Of course you can.
Can you? I don't know. I didn't think you could.
Yeah.
But I bought her some Blu-rays and she's like, "Why do I need this thing?" So now she has one of those DVD players / VHS players and then the Blu-ray player on top of it. And then I was like, "Mom, next year I'll buy you a 4K player."
The same thing happened to me when CDs were first popular and coming out. My dad had a big vinyl collection. I love almost every genre of music, and I thank him for that. You know, he used to go from like calypso music to Engelbert Humperdinck to Jefferson Starship to, you know, he was just like all over the place. And then he had like a stack like this of classical music. So I got into the Beethoven, the Mozart, the Bach, all that stuff. And I said, cool, I'm making some coin. I'm going to buy him a CD player, our favorite Christmas album, the Nat King Cole Christmas song.
Nice.
I got him the CD. He's like, what am I going to do with this? It's like, you put the CD on and you listen to it. It sounds better than the record.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
The record is perfectly fine. I've been listening to that for 32 years. I was like, the record, man, I know it's warm but it's scratchy and it sounds like you've been listening for 32 years, but nah. So it just sits there and collects dust. This has been 15, 20 years now.
Same.
Yeah. Let's go back.
That's funny.
February 9th, 2021. As far as I know, your first episode that I could find. What was the outlook at the time for the channel that you had, and how has it changed?
Wow.
If you remember.
Past on that
Let's go back.
I actually had a channel before that. So sorry about the train noise in the background. Like I said,
I was waiting for it. That was going to be one of my questions. Are we going to get to hear the train pass by? I'm glad it came early so we could get that question out the way.
Oh, for real?
There might continue.
Be 5 trains. You never know.
You haven't learned their schedule yet?
No, it's so random because they're not passenger trains or cargo trains. So they're just like, they go by whenever. It could be like 1 o'clock in the morning and it'll blast off and I'll be like, oh my God.
So you said you had another channel before this?
Oh, yeah. So I did have another channel before this. It was me and a friend, and we were doing intensive deep dives into our favorite movies. So these were like 2-hour-long episodes of me and her just bantering back and forth. I mean, they were hilarious and it was super fun, but she then started going back to school and couldn't do it anymore. And, which was fine with me. I was super proud of her to do that. But then I was like, well, now what am I going to do? Am I just going to like change my channel into just a one person? So I had recorded those episodes that I put on the podcast and I was like, oh, I'll just see what happens if I dump them on YouTube. Not much really happened because they were like 2 hours long and I just started my channel over again and all of that. But then I started I was featuring the movies I was talking about in the video. And I was like, well, that's kind of cool. And then I started, really picking up buying more movies in my collection. And then I found Basement Blues.
Tony, shout out to Tony.
Shout out to Tony. He was the first YouTuber I had ever talked to in my life. Super awesome, nice guy. And so I just started following him around YouTube. So whenever he would do lives, I would pop in the chats and talk to people. And then that's kind of how I got introduced into the blue tubing community.
That's
where
nice.
I live now.
Yes, where we dwell.
Yeah, we dwell here. Thanks, Tony.
I think for me, I was collecting and all that stuff before, but I came across Cinema Sickness. Dave was doing like a tour of his library, which is basically his entire basement.
Yep.
Kind of like Tony.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I could never imagine myself getting to that level, but I could do less curating and more collecting like he has. And I think that's when the bug kind of got me and I started doing it again.
Yeah. Well, and that's really what like made me think, wow, people really like seeing these movies and stuff. And I have always had a movie collection. It has came up and dwindled and came up and dwindled over the years because of certain things. Like I took my entire movie collection to college in Chicago, and then my apartment got broke into, and every single one of my movies got stolen. So then I
That
had
was
to
my CD collection. Same thing happened to me.
So then I had to start all over. And so I started buying DVDs again, and then streaming kind of came out eventually. And I was like, why am I doing this? I'm just going to start buying movies on streaming. So I started buying movies on streaming, and then it just wasn't the same.
Nope, I did
so
the same thing. Same thing. It's not the same.
It's not, it really isn't. It's not as fun. You don't have something to look at, it's the buying of the things is what makes it fun too. And, just clicking a button on Vudu is just not as much fun.
No special features, hardly a commentary. Now iTunes and all that might give you a commentary, but you can't do this.
Yep,
you can't
exactly.
Just like grab and hold it.
Exactly. Well, and then I started having podcast episodes of movies that I didn't have anymore because they had gotten stolen and I just hadn't gotten around to buying them on Vudu. So I just started buying the Blu-rays of those to do my episodes or whatever. And then, yeah.
The one thing you're known for from the moment you start your videos is that high energy delivery. Where does it come from? I imagine you're not like that 24/7. So where do you get that energy from to like just be like so vibrant in your videos?
I'm like that most of the time. Like when I'm at work, I'm pretty sociable and I like to joke around with people, and I don't know, just laughing brings me so much joy. And I really I really like to be sarcastic with people and like joke around with them and poke fun at them. Like the last night when I was like making fun of Kenny.
Corporate level Ken.
Yeah. I was making fun of it. It's just, I don't know. I'm kind of loud and obnoxious. I'm one of those people. So I feel like that's why I'm that way in my videos. When I'm just chilling at home on the couch watching a movie, I'm pretty laid back or whatever. But when I get around a group of people, yeah, I'm pretty loud and obnoxious.
So is that the side that your friends know but may not know about, like the movie collecting and All of Us and all that?
Yeah. I mean, I do have a group of friends that live kind of in the same area that I do that know I'm on YouTube, but they don't like watch my channel or anything. Like, which is fine by me.
Please don't watch. This next one is going to get some certain level of energy from you without using superlatives. Explain to me why The Burbs is your favorite movie.
Oh my God. The Burbs has just traveled with me my entire life. I'm not sure when it entered my life. I don't remember. I had the VHS. So I know that I've had it forever, but it was one of those things that gave me so much comfort to fall asleep to. So every time I would go lay down in my bed, I would pop in The Burbs and then I would fall asleep, and then I would wake up and it would be like white noise, and then I took my DVD with me to college, and then like most nights if I wasn't passing out
college.
Yep, exactly. I would pop in The Burbs and I would fall asleep to it. I swear I've seen the beginning of that movie a million times and I've probably only seen the end like 50 times. Because I would always watch the first 15 minutes and then fall asleep.
I think I had a few movies like that, but Silence of the Lambs, I don't know how many times I've seen the first half hour of that movie because I would put it in and fall asleep, or my roommate worked at the airport. He would come home and turn off the TV or whatever. So I know that first half of the movie very, very well.
Yeah, it became a comfort movie of mine, and because it came with me everywhere I went. And I'm a big Corey's fan. I love Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, and Corey Feldman's in that
Hmm.
movie, and it has a certain level of humor in that movie too that's just it cracks me up, but it also has a dark side to it,
Yeah,
in a very classy kind of way. So I don't know. There's just something about it that I can't shake. And no matter how many times I watch it, it doesn't get old either. It's
that's
weird.
awesome. I think I think you're the only person that I could think of that's probably more excited than I am for The Lost Boys.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm super excited.
That movie came into my life at the just the right time. I was all into vampire movies, and I was like, "This is it. This is it."
Yes. Yep, that
Uh,
movie was nostalgia for my childhood. I probably watched it when I was maybe a little too young because, like I
mm,
said, my mom was always into horror movies. So she was just like, well, I'm watching this. You can either stay or go. If it gets too hot in the kitchen, beat it,
right, right.
So me and my brother just watched all kinds of horror movies when we were kids, but they were like the cheesy B ones. So they weren't, it's not like Salo or whatever.
Oh,
So
or suburban film.
yeah, oh my God, that's getting a 4K. Why?
Yeah, I can't
Nobody
believe that's
asked for
getting a
that.
4K.
Nobody
Nobody
asked
wants
for
to see it
that.
in such detail.
Exactly. But I feel like the Lost Boys is so timeless because you watch it today, even not the 4K, it's like it's so cool. All of that 80s stuff is coming back. The hairstyles, the
Hmm.
clothes, they come and go throughout the decades all the time, and it's timeless, and it's just it's a cool movie.
Yeah,
I don't know, it brings me a lot of joy. That's probably my second favorite movie of all time.
I think, and that's why I brought it up. I think for some reason, like I was really into Kiefer at that time. So that
Mm-hmm.
Stand By Me, where
Stand by Me. Yep.
it's like, he's so cool. I don't know who he is, but he's so cool. So
Yeah, Flatliners entered my life around that same time too, because he's in that. I think it might have
hmm,
even been The Lost Boys that made me want to watch Flatliners,
that makes
but,
sense.
but I'm sure my mom had it too. But so I have a special like love for Flatliners in my heart as well, specifically because of Kiefer Sutherland. But I
Yeah.
think that was also my introductory to Kevin Bacon. And then I later watched Trimmers and I was like, man, I love him.
All right. For this next one, I'm going to have to turn around for a minute. Tell me when you
Oh.
see it.
Ah! Yeah.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
No slip, no dip. Oh man. So I like my slip covers. I don't think that's a secret. But this was also another thing that happened. I was in a chat and I don't remember whose live stream it was, but Basement Blues was on it and he was talking about slip covers. And I think he said something like no slip, no buy or something
Yeah.
like that. So then I was like, trying to be quick-witted and I was like, oh, no slip, no dip. And then somebody else in the chat was like, dang, that would make a cool t-shirt. And I was like,
And now it is.
okay, I'll make it a t-shirt. So I made it a t-shirt. And then somewhere along the line later, I wasn't even in this chat, I don't think, of a live stream. People were like going back and forth and like saying no slip, no dip. And then people were like, the non-slipcover people were going against the slipcover people. And then one day I woke up on Instagram and there's like a slipcover war and there was like a hashtag no slip, no dip. And I was like,
Hmm.
what is
People started
happening?
saying it like in videos and live streams. People started saying it. They were saying it in the chats.
Yeah, I was
So I was
seeing it
like,
pop up
Mel?
everywhere. I was like, oh my God. And then finally, somebody sent me a DM in Instagram and they were like, yeah, hashtag no slip, no dip. And I was like, all right, well, I'll repost to my shirt and see if I can get some sales.
You got one over here. So
Yeah.
this was not provided by Mel, My Killer Podcast, or any member of the Rat Pack or Dead Pit. This is from my checking account.
And it is much appreciated, sir.
Hmm. You have come up with a few associations over the year or two. What was the inspiration for the Discord server, the movie room?
So I know somebody who frequents discords in general, and I was just like, it was more for like I think it was originally for gamers, like off Twitch or something. They would have these discords for their people to go and hang out in. And so I always kind of knew about them.
Right.
And then I was hanging out with 4K D-Ray a lot. We were doing battles and stuff like that. And I was like,
Shout
man,
out.
yeah, shout out to 4K D-Ray. Um, I was like, I told him about it. I was like, I want to look more into this Discord situation. And he didn't really know anything about it either, but he was like, I'm game to do this with you. And I was like, hell yeah, that's cool. So I looked into it, and it's basically just like a chat room, like a modern day chat room, like remember back in the day
with different channels.
Yeah, when you were a kid and you go to your grandma's house and at like midnight you'd sneak in and jump on the computer and join the chat room.
the AOL.
Yeah, the AOL chat rooms and stuff. Yes, that's what it reminded me of. And I was like, man, we could totally do this for like movies and just have one singular place where people can go and like chit chat. Cause it's fun to join a live stream and be in the chat and stuff. But then when the live stream's over, the chat's gone, it's over, and so me and him got together and we started the Discord. So it's equally as much his as it is mine. And yeah, we just go there and we hang out and we get to talk to people. And the people on the Discord are so amazing. I can't tell you how many days I jump on there and people are giving away free digital code. Like there's a digital code room for people to buy off each other, but they go in there and they give them away for free. And it's amazing. The people in the Discord are awesome.
Yeah, I remember one day he was doing a hunt. I don't even think it was a Tuesday or anything. And he was picking up steelbooks or slipcase 4Ks for someone who couldn't get it. Maybe they were in like Canada or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's what it's all about, man. Mm-hmm. Just sharing the love of movies and building community that way. And I knew it was someone from the movie room. So It's nice to see that it's taken off like that.
Yeah, and that was part of the idea behind it, was just a way that we can all connect and people can help each other out. Because there for a minute when Best Buy was dropping steelbooks, it was really hard to get your hands on one of them, but then you'd watch somebody's video and you'd be like, his Best Buy has like 3 of them, and then it's like, how do I tell him to buy me one?
It's like, how come yours got Arrow in it?
Yeah, exactly. So that was one of the main things that we were trying to do with the Discord, was just find a way to help each other out. Like I got helped out on that really squishy Ghostbusters box set, the one where you open it up and it lit up.
Yeah.
One of my homies from the Discord was able to snag me one from, where did he get it? It was like Bull Moose or one of those, really cool stores he ordered from that, are nowhere near me, but
or me.
Yeah. So he was able to get me one. So yeah, that's what it's all about. It's pretty cool.
And also the Rad Pack.
Oh,
tell me about that group of hooligans.
I don't even know how that started, to be honest. I had done was it a Rad recommendations episode with Born to Be Rad? And we talked about The Burbs, of course. He hit me up because he knew that The Burbs was one of my favorite movies and it's one of his too. And that's what he does. He does these recommendation live streams or whatever, and you do a deep dive into a movie. So I had done that with him. And then I don't really remember. Maybe he was like throwing around like ideas of the Rad Pack or something, but then it was in somebody else's Instagram post. He had commented something about starting a Rad Pack and me and Justin would be in it or whatever. And I saw it and I was like, so I replied to his comment in somebody else's Instagram and I was like, I'm in.
And that was that.
I guess that was that. I don't know. So we started doing these Rad Pack episodes and they're really fun. It's a cool idea. We got, we made shirts and I don't know, it's just a fun thing that we get to do now.
I think the thing that all of you have in common is that love for 80s movies. I mean, Garrett, definitely. You, same thing, because you came up in that. And like, not that you're looking for new members, but the only person I could think of that has that similar love for 80s movies is Bob from Bob's Blu-rays.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know
Yeah,
Bob.
he's Mr. 80s. He even talks like he's an 80s, saying
Oh really?
tubular and gag me with a spoon and all that. In 2022. I'm serious.
That's hilarious. Yeah, he's a super nice dude.
He is.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's why we all kind of came together, was because, we post similar things, we like similar movies, and so now we just have a platform to talk about stuff. And we try and get ridiculous too, because it's just fun to get on a live stream and just do dumb stuff and not have to worry about, anything else.
Mm-hmm. And not have a do-over.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So when was the last time you changed your lights?
Oh my God. It has been, well, I would say the start of the summer, maybe. I went back to blue. So I was changing them depending on what I was talking about or the holiday or something like that. And then I feel like it was at the beginning of the summer. I was like, I'm going to go back to pink and blue. And then I just kind of left it.
It works.
It seems to be working, right?
Especially the way it comes together and makes that little background in the middle with the purple.
Yeah.
It's very 80s. It's very 80s.
I think I like the pink and the blue the best, because I did have a teal light in here. So a pink and a teal one, but the teal, like, it affects my camera differently. So, because I notice it when I go to edit like my thumbnails or my videos or something, I'm more blown out. Like my skin looks paler or everything just looks paler. And I feel like I have to go in and add contrast. Yeah. But when I have the blue one, I think because it's darker, it just has that contrast already. So yeah.
We're going to start talking about color analysis and temperature and warmth and, that sliding I got my warm scale.
And my cold. It's perfect.
You know it. It works.
Yeah.
This is a question that I always want to ask people who, especially, spooky season's coming up, a lot of horror fans. I'm going to have a lot more horror fans on next month.
Ooh, nice.
You're invited to come back if you want to. I'll tell you why at the end.
Ooh. But now I'm intrigued.
Before we get there, I have to ask, what movie has truly scared you?
Oh, well, so how old am I? When I was younger, The Exorcist scared the crap out of me, but that's
same.
It's obvious.
Same. Yeah.
But then, you think when you get older, you're like, it's a horror movie, but I know it's not real, so nothing can scare me. But to be honest with you, The Fourth Kind scared the crap out of me.
I don't know if I know that one.
So it's a Milla Jovovich movie, and it's based in Alaska. And the movie is set up kind of found footage-ish, kind of, normal film. And it's based on a true story. However, all my researchings, I've never found the true story.
Like Blair Witch.
Yeah, because I needed to know if it really was real. But yeah, I think it was just that was part of the movie, was based off of a true story. But it's about aliens, and I love alien movies, and they don't normally scare me, but man, this one, they did it in like a kind of demonic exorcist kind of way, where she's a psychologist and she has all of these patients, and these patients are starting to do these weird things, and then she'll put them under hypnosis to try and bring out backstories of like what happened to you the other night when your wife found you out in the woods staring at nothing, and then they, like, under hypnosis, would start levitating, and like they would make these really horrible screams and stuff. Ooh. And then there was like this whole situation with an owl. I highly recommend checking it out. You let me know if it scares the crap out of you, because I watched it for the first time at my momster's house, and then I had to drive all the way home in the backwoods by myself, and it was dark out. So I was like looking out my car windows like, oh my God, if I see an owl, I am done. But yeah, that one truly like scared the crap out of me.
home invasion movies. Home
Oh,
invasion movies
yeah.
get to me. The Strangers, Liv Tyler, that one gets
Hmm.
to me. Just because no rhyme or reason. Why is this happening to me? You were
Yep.
home.
Exactly. It's the
Oh,
it could actually happen thing,
mm-hmm,
you know. There's
mm-hmm.
one part in that movie that really got me. It was like, oh God, it's been so long since I've seen it, but there's a part where like one of the people like kills one of the other people or something, and it was an accident or something. Like
Mm-hmm.
that part, I was like,
That's too real.
oh dang, that is too real. Because
That's
what
too
would
real.
you do? Like, because sometimes you hear bumps in the night all the time and you get up and you go to investigate. And what if your brother or husband or whoever is like downstairs and you whack,
Yeah,
and you accidentally like end them.
yeah,
It's terrifying.
it is. Let's switch it up a little bit. What has made you cry?
Oh, I cry all the time at everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those people where if I'm watching a movie and the dog dies, I cry. If the movie
Mm,
has a happy ending, I cry. If something happens to the kid, I cry. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like a wailer, I'm not sitting there like, oh, but like I'll start tearing up and my nose will start running and I'll be like try to hide it.
I
But
hear you.
yeah,
I hear you.
lots of things get me emotional.
See, I can't even think about it. I brought it up and immediately I thought of something. Have you ever seen either version of Funny Games? There's a
uh
Criterion version, which was the original, which was foreign, and then I was talking to Bob about this. Naomi Watts, who he absolutely loves. I think
mhm.
she sees these foreign movies, falls in love with them, and then says, I could produce it and bring it, an American version or a British version, whatever.
I don't
But
know. I
have you
don't
ever
think I've
seen
ever
that,
seen
Funny
it.
Games? Basically, the premise is this well-to-do family goes to their lake house, and supposedly friends of their neighbors comes over to like borrow something, and it just goes downhill from there. And to make it even more immersive, the guy breaks the fourth wall and speaks to you, and he's basically saying, this is what you want to see, isn't it? You
Oh
like this,
man.
you like the violence, you like seeing this. What's going to happen next? Are we going to let him go? You don't want to see that. And it just starts to mess with you mentally, like, why do I like this? It really examines our visual fascination with violence. It's
Hmm.
kind of crazy, but it's good. And I mean, the American version is basically like a shot for shot remake with minute differences, but I would
Hmm.
still recommend the first one, even though the American one is basically the same. But
Yeah,
how
I'll have
true
to
is
check
that?
that one out. I mean, I
Yeah,
think it's
please
very
do.
true.
Yeah, especially with horror movie fans. Do
Mm,
are we fascinated with that visual representation of violence?
probably.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like for a lot of people too, it's like an escape from real life. But man, like real life has really sucked lately. So people are going further and further down the pipeline trying to find something worse than what's going on in the world. And it's getting harder and harder to find for them to escape reality and like be like, oh, this is way worse than my life.
Mm-hmm. Like LA AIDS jabber.
Oh my God. I just can't even with that one. What the
Shout
hell?
out Piz. Shout out Piz.
Oh my God. He was really pushing that one, wasn't he? Almost
Yeah,
made me
it
want to buy
reminded
it.
me of when Ken was pushing Apex.
Oh
That's what it
my.
reminded me of.
Mhm.
But just knowing with a title like LA AIDS jabber, I don't think it had much to do with Apex.
Yeah, no.
All right. One more question, really more of a statement. I could make it into a question before we get to the five takes. Something you used to say on your early videos at the end, you used to say, peace out with love. Why'd you stop saying that?
uh, I don't know. I feel like I just randomly, okay, so this is what happened.
I know this
Um,
story.
I don't know if I've ever told this one or not because this is a little embarrassing for me.
That's why you're here. Bring the stories.
I was still trying to figure out like my channel and like what I wanted it to be. And I thought it needed to be a little more me, a little more have to do with the killer podcast thing. And the newest season of Dexter came out. And is this the story you're I saw a promo for it. It was like a promo poster or picture or whatever. And he was holding a coffee mug and it said, have a killer day. And I was like, oh,
and a new tagline was formed.
Yeah. I was like, that's perfect. That fits into everything that I have going on. So I stole it.
You still put up the peace sign. So it's kind of like peace out with love is still there. It's just that you don't verbally say it.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like that. And where's your little doll? I'm sure it's nearby.
He's right. Yes, I saw him and had to have him too because have a killer day.
That's awesome.
My little Freddy guy. I don't even watch Five Nights at Freddy's, but he says have a killer day, so I had to have him.
I like that. Ready to do the 5 takes?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I think so.
Let's
I
go
feel like
then.
I answered one of the questions already.
We'll just go back down that road again.
Okay.
Number 1, name the film that made you fall in love with the movies.
So this is the one that I feel like I answered already because I was gonna cheat because I'm a cheater and say it wasn't a film, it was a person, and it was my momster. Because honestly, I can't remember what my first movie was that I ever bought. I can't remember what my first movie was that I went to the theater, which makes me really sad because I hear people tell their stories and I'm like, man, I wish I could remember.
It's so nostalgic and whatnot.
Yeah, but the movies have just been a part of my life for so long. I was too young to even remember when my mom started buying me my own movies. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
he would always go to the theater with my dad and they just take me along. So I was too young to remember. So I just don't remember. And now that like I'm as old as I am and they are clearly as old as they are, they don't remember either. So I can't even ask them like, hey mom, what was the first, movie theater experience I had? She'd be like, I don't know.
Do you remember then the first movie where you said, I want to watch this again and again?
It was probably The Lost Boys was the first movie, or Killer Clowns from Outer Space was like, me and my brother had those on repeat when we were kids. That and like, Who's That Girl?
Madonna.
Yeah, Madonna. Which I feel like is where maybe I got some of my snarky attitude.
I love it.
Because she's very outgoing and loud too,
Mm-hmm. Number 2, name 5 of your favorite films. Not the 5, just 5 of.
Oh, not the 5, not the top 5?
If you want to give me the top 5, please bring it.
Well, I was about to go on a diatribe about how I don't know what my top.
Well, you don't have to now.
Well, now that I know it can be any 5.
Any 5.
Well, The Burbs is clearly has to be in the list. The Lost Boys, Killer Clowns, Pump Up the Volume is a movie I watch on repeat also.
Yes.
And part of the reason why I started a podcast in the first place.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Because I have that VHS of that movie too. I used to watch it all the time. And it is so inspiring to just get your voice out there no matter what you say, So.
And that soundtrack was everything to me.
Oh,
I used to play that soundtrack like nonstop.
Yeah. I mean, everything about that movie is amazing. It's not like the most action packed or the greatest tale ever told, but man, if you're like one of those people, that movie really hits you, So one more. Another movie that I had the VHS for and I watched on repeat was Gleaming the Cube, which is another Christian Slater movie now that I think about it.
And very hard to find.
Yeah, and desperately needs a better transfer best run.
Yeah.
Watching.
Oh yeah, they watch all my conversations.
I figured, so I was gonna throw that out there. But yeah, I bought that movie. I bought the DVD version of that movie. And I'm pretty sure somebody told me it was like an Australian release or something like that. Because I bought it online. It took forever to get it. It was stupid expensive.
Sounds Australian.
I just wanted it, I was
Yeah.
tired of waiting and I wanted it and I got it. And it looks even weird. Like if you look at the back, it doesn't have the normal like description and credits and all the things or whatever. It's like very plain. There's like 2 pictures and it has like 3 sentences on it and that's it. And I was like, is this a bootleg?
I paid all this money for a bootleg?
Yeah, I swear it was a bootleg. So I was showing it off in one of my videos and no, somebody had like commented or DM'd me and they're like, no, that's an Australian release. That's legit. And I was like, yes, because I watched it and it looked fine. So
yeah. Number 3, name a classic movie that everybody loves, but you can't stand.
Okay, I'm gonna lose cool points on this one.
It happens every time.
Because I'm a cheesy B horror girl. That's my genre, and I pretty much stay in my lane for the most part. So I am gonna be honest. I have not seen a lot of the classics. Several people told me I needed to see, what was it? That Christmas one. I just bought it too. Dang it. Not The Miracle, but the other one. It's a
Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. Is that the one? Is that the Christmas one?
I just bought the 4K steelbook of it. Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people told me that I needed to see that one. So I did buy that one at a Half Price Books, and I'm planning on watching it at Christmas, but I haven't watched it yet. So the only one that I could think of that was considered a classic is The Godfather. And that movie, I know.
But you can't say you can't stand it. You're saying you never saw it. I'm saying something you've seen.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen The Godfather. That's the only one I could think of that I have seen. Other than, would like musicals count, like classical, like West Side Story?
They are feature films. Yes, they would.
Okay, count. So maybe those 2. The Godfather was just boring. I'm sorry. I was bored to tears with that one. I
think there's a difference based on like cultural backgrounds or like the time in which you grew up. I mean, I grew up in New York, so it was like you were either a part of that family or you knew people like that in that family. So 97% Rotten Tomatoes, and West Side Story is 92.
Yeah.
So I think those qualify.
Well, and I feel bad for saying it because it's like I like all the other mobsterous movies like Scarface and Goodfellas is like one of my favorites and stuff like that. Here. But it's like I just couldn't do it.
Too long?
I think so, maybe. I don't know. I was bored to tears with it. Bored to tears. And West Side Story, I just couldn't get into that one either. I don't know if it was the story or if it just, by the end, I was like, oh, I was done with it.
You know what?
Do it.
People like you too much to hate you. So I don't think you're going to lose too many points.
I hope not.
Let's flip that then. Number 4, name a critically hated movie that you love. If you like horror movies, there's a whole bunch.
I know. I was like, can I just answer this question with basically all my favorite movies? Because I said, I'm a cheesy B horror movie girl. I love all the worst of the worst. So bad it's good movies are my jam. Mm-hmm. The one movie that I was the most surprised about, and I ran across this when I was on Tim Talks Talkies channel when he did the Rotten Tomato, like the worst of the Rotten Tomato movies that are actually really good or whatever episode that was. The Mothman Prophecies apparently got killed by critics, but has like a cult following now. But apparently that one, like the critics did not like that one. And I'm like, that's like, I love that movie. I bought the imprint release of that movie because I love it so much because it's creepy and it's eerie. And I thought Richard Gere did a really great job in that movie. And that one is actually based on true events, which I find incredibly interesting. So I was surprised by that one.
52% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes can just...
I know.
Ah.
That says everything you want to say right there.
Yeah, exactly. So it didn't get the worst of the worst, but it's still, wasn't certified fresh for some reason.
Yeah. Whatever. All right. I kind of feel like I know the answer to this last one, but I'll ask it anyway. Number 5. Who would you like to see me have a conversation with on this channel?
Okay, so I don't know. I hope you haven't done this yet, but I would love to see Mika and Kira. Have they been on?
They have not.
Okay.
But that is a great segue. What I'm gonna do in October is, unlike what we just did as far as going through like just random unique questions, for the month of October, aka spooky season, I'm going to have a guest like Mika, and we're going to discuss a couple of our favorite horror movies.
Nice.
So it's going to be more of a movie discussion, spoiler free. We're not going to get into any spoilers or anything like that, but we're going to see how well we can do that without spoiling movies, especially if it's been around for a long time. People are like, well, everyone's seen that. No, they haven't. Mm-hmm. So it should be interesting. But yes, she's definitely one person that I picked to please be on.
God.
Yeah, and I heard there's rumors about you leaving the Rat Pack and starting a girls group with Sue and Mika, and I just had to throw that in there.
I'm like, that is news to me. Where'd you hear that? I'm like, am I getting kicked out?
Maybe they're spreading the rumor. You never know.
Maybe. I'm gonna have to get to the bottom of this now.
Well, until you do, I want to thank you for spending your time with me and having this conversation. I am so happy to finally have it with you.
I'm so glad to actually be on here and that we were able to make it work. And
I know
this was so much fun. It's always so much fun to dig into nostalgia and talk about my monster.
I like having these conversations because we all love movies. That's why we're spending our time and our money and our efforts just to collect them and so forth. So it was definitely a pleasure.
Yep, the pleasure's all mine. Thank you for having me again.